In the name of Robert of the House Baratheon, the first of his name, King of the Andals and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm, I charge you to bring the King's justice to the false knight Gregor Clegane and all those who shared in his crimes.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 prediction video. Today I want to talk about a handful of characters that may or may not return for one last season. We all know people like Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, Cersei Lannister, and other main characters still have very big parts to play in this show, but in this video, I want to discuss some of the other characters that might not return at all. Most fans want to know if we will ever see Daario Naharis again, and most fans also want to know if Jack and Agar still has a part to play or not, so today I want to talk about these type of characters. With the cast as big as the one we have in Game of Thrones, it must be extremely difficult to keep everyone involved in the current story with the amount of time they have decided to give themselves. The showrunners Dan and Dave made the final decision to only film 6 episodes for the final season, and when you have so many different storylines to wrap up, some characters end up being forgotten or completely neglected. I'm afraid this might happen with the characters I name in this video because they probably don't have enough screen time to fit them all in. Before I begin, let me remind everyone about the new giveaway. I have another set of the A Song of Ice and Fire books, and I will be giving them away in about 2 weeks from today. There is a link down below in the description of the video, and the link is pinned at the top of the comments. If you would like to enter the giveaway, just click on one of those links. Good luck, now let's get started. First, I want to start off the video with some of the characters that don't seem to be coming back at all. A report recently came out about Tykos, who has been the main representative from the Iron Bank. It looks like we will not be seeing this character ever again, but that doesn't mean the Iron Bank is completely gone from the story. Even though Tykos isn't returning, the Iron Bank could still be involved in one of the storylines. The commander of the Golden Company could always relay a message from the Iron Bank, since it was their money who hired them in the first place. We could also hear from the Iron Bank through messages via Raven. We don't always need to see a character to feel their impact on the plot, and something tells me this won't be the last time we hear from the Iron Bank. It looks like Tykos will survive, but he is simply being written off the screen. The next character I want to talk about is Daario Naharis. The last time we saw him was when Daenerys left him in charge of Meereen, right before she set sail to Westeros. Ever since then, fans have wondered if Daario will make another appearance. A very popular theory states Daario could be the commander of the Golden Company, but as of right now, this doesn't appear to be true. HBO has already filled this position with another actor named Mark Rissman. Daario will not be the leader of the Golden Company, and based on everything else I have seen, it doesn't look like Daario is coming back to the screen either. Another character that doesn't seem to be returning is Edmure Tully. The last mention of this character's name was when Jaime and Bronn were at the Twins, celebrating with Walder Frey.
Edmure's back in the cell. Can't go killing my son by law, wouldn't be right. Give the family a bad name.
Walder Frey told Jaime he had Edmure put back in the cells at the Twins. Until this day, that is where he remains. I was hoping they would show Arya Stark setting him free, but they never did, and based on what the actor said himself, we probably won't be seeing him again either. When he was asked about his character, he said, "Honestly, I have no idea. He's obviously somewhere in a prison. He's still around alive somewhere." They're pretty stingy with their information, meaning HBO, and I've not heard anything from them. I feel like they have so many stories to tie up. Whether that's a story they'll want to go back to, I don't know. I was hoping we would see Edmure again, just to get some closure with this character, but it doesn't look like he will be appearing on the screen. HBO did cast 2 new actors to play as Frey daughters, so we will see the twins again, and perhaps we could find out something about Edmure through a conversation, but he has yet to be seen during any of the filming, so I would not hold your breath on this one. For now, I would say Edmure Tully is still alive. Now let's talk about a fan favorite known as Jack and Agar. I think many fans would love to see him again, but as of right now, this is still a big unknown. This is another character that was not seen filming any scenes, but he was near the set of the Dragon Pit when the majority of the main cast was there as well. Jack and Agar was seen taking some photos with fans, but why he was actually there is still up for debate. I happen to think he was there as sort of a celebration because the show was coming to an end, but I would love it if he was actually there to film some scenes. In my opinion, I doubt we will ever see him again. With only 6 episodes left, I think the only characters we are likely to see again are the characters that were in last season. Arya Stark's training is over, and Jack and Agar's plot from the books was never set up in this show. I would love to see him pop back up in Arya's storyline, but I just don't think they have the time. But I cannot completely rule this possibility out because you never know what they could do for the final season. Perhaps he does assist Arya in some way, or perhaps he would try to punish her for the way she left the House of Black and White. But when he smiled at Arya, to me that indicated he was content with her leaving Burrows the way she did. I think if we see any more Faceless Men activities, it would be done through Arya Stark's character, but I could be wrong. The great thing about Jack and Agar is you can never fully get rid of him, because one of the Faceless Men could always wear his face and emulate his voice. I want to see this character again, but I would not bet money on him returning. The next character I want to talk about is Archmaester Burrows from the Citadel. He was featured in several episodes last season, but now that Samwell Tarly has left the Citadel, you have to wonder if we will ever see any scenes or characters from there again. I think this one is possible, although there wasn't any reports of this character returning to the show. We know Sam was trying to get the Maesters to help with the Night King. The Archmaester did read the letter from Winterfell, and Sam did confirm Bran Stark's report about the others beyond the wall, but unfortunately they were not entirely convinced. When Sam left the Citadel, he did take several books and documents with him, so there is a very good chance Sam has enough information with him that would allow him to avoid reaching back out to anyone in Old Town. We also have Bran Stark, who can look back in time, so they might not need any help finding any answers to the current problems. If that's the case, then we may have no reason to see the Citadel ever again, unless Sam would decide to go back at the very end to finish his studies. But that doesn't seem likely because he said he was tired of reading about other men's achievements. A few ways I think we could see the Archmaester being involved in the story again is if Sam or Bran have trouble figuring out how to defeat the Night King. In that case, they may have to reach out to the Citadel for help. Or if by some crazy chance the Night King would happen to make it that far south, then we could see him again. But I do not think the Night King will make it any further south than King's Landing at the most. I see him being stopped way before then, but that's just my opinion. As of right now, it looks like the Archmaester will survive the show because there have been no reports of him being on set. He could be another character that is written off. There is another character that seems to be in the same boat, and that is Little Robin Arryn. We haven't seen this character in quite some time, and I'm not entirely sure if we will ever see him again. Now that Littlefinger's dead, we could potentially see Sansa Stark or Jon Royce take full control of the Vale Army. That way they don't have to bring Robin back. I used to think there was a very good chance Sansa could still marry Robin Arryn, but now I don't think that's likely at all. In fact, after everything she has been through, Sansa may never want to get married again. As of right now, I don't see them having any reason to involve Robin in this story. The Vale Army seems to still be at Winterfell, along with Jon Royce, who has been one of their leaders. I suppose we could see Robin again if the Vale would happen to abandon the fight against the Night King, or if the Night King forced the Starks out of their home. Then perhaps some of them could take shelter at the Eyrie. But at the end of the day, I really don't think we need to see him again. Now, I do want to say it would be nice if they could wrap up everyone's story in some way, because there are a lot of characters that haven't had any official closure, but with only 6 episodes left, you gotta be realistic. There's only so much they can do since they decided to back themselves into a corner by only filming a handful of episodes when there are still so many different characters alive. I would say Robin Arryn survives the show, but that's only by default because we probably won't see him again. Now I want to talk about one of the very few characters that has somehow been able to hold a job, even when nothing but death and destruction is all around his current place of employment, and that is Hot Pie. It's actually kind of crazy that he is still alive, considering he was introduced all the way back in the first season. Out of all the characters I am mentioning in this video, Hot Pie is arguably the least important one. He doesn't have any high-ranking titles, he's not a fighter, he's not a scholar, and he has no connection to any kind of magic. However, I think we have a better chance of seeing him again next season than any of the other characters I name. Most of the characters I named in this video aren't even in Westeros, but Hot Pie on the other hand is in a very good location because we will see a lot of traveling next season. Jon, Daenerys, and their teams are heading to Winterfell as we speak. After they fight the Night King, they will have to travel south again, to take King's Landing from Cersei. Depending on how they get all their troops down there, they could travel right through the crossroads. We might even see Jaime Lannister stop here in the very first episode, since we know he is traveling by land. During all this traveling, you have to eat and sleep at some point, and the inn at the crossroads is the perfect place to do this. Not to mention, if Cersei would happen to send the Golden Company north, we could see them stop here as well. Many different scenarios can play out, so I think there is still a chance we could see Hot Pie one last time. Now let's move on to Kinvara, everyone's favorite Red Priestess. Now this is another character I could see returning to the show. So far, she has had a very small part to play, but I think she could serve a bigger purpose in the endgame. Ever since Melisandre's introduction onto the show, we have known that she has been preparing for the Great War to come. Melisandre was trying to help Stannis create Lightbringer in one of her very first scenes. We also know Kinvara and Melisandre both want to support Daenerys Targaryen. Melisandre also wants to support Jon Snow, but Jon doesn't ever want to see her in the north again, which ultimately led to Melisandre leaving Westeros. Melisandre is currently on her way to Volantis, and once she gets there, I think we could see a scene with her and Kinvara, along with other followers of R'hllor. Melisandre should tell them about Jon, his resurrection, and how he has come in contact with the Great Other, the Night King. She knows the Night King is coming, and she even told Jon she can help him win this war. I think in order for her to do this, she had to go to Volantis, but for what actual reason is still unknown. It could be to get Kinvara, or other high-ranking members, or even the Fiery Hand, which many people do believe. The reason why I think we could see Kinvara again is mostly based on her one scene during Season 6. In my opinion, the most interesting thing about this scene was what she said to Varys. She basically questioned him about his loyalty to Daenerys. Then she reminded him of the most traumatic event in his life, which was when he was taken and cut by a sorcerer when he was still a boy. After he was cut, his parts were thrown into the flames. The flames turned blue, then Varys heard a voice that still haunts him till this day.
My little birds tell me that Stannis Baratheon has taken up with the Red Priestess from Ashai.
What of it?
You probably don't entirely trust me.
Don't take it personally. I don't entirely trust myself.
And yet I have seen things. And heard things. Things you have not. Things I wish I had not.
You heard a voice call out from the flames, do you remember? Should I tell you what the voice said? Should I tell you the name of the one who spoke?
Why did Kinvara remind him of this, and tell him she knew what the voice said, unless it was foreshadowing something to come? This is one of the main reasons why I think Melisandre went to Volantis. I think we could see Kinvara again. They would obviously help fight the Night King, but I also think they will play a part in Varys' endgame. We've all known he's been afraid of magic, and any follower of R'hllor for most of his life. Every time he comes into contact with the Red Priestess, something very ominous happens, and I think if Varys does die, a Red Priestess will have something to do with it. I should also mention, the actress who plays Melisandre said something very interesting about Varys during a recent interview. She said, "I think he's not going to make it, but that's my personal thought. Some things, terrible things, have to happen in these last seasons. It'll probably be one of those where he'll try to run from it, but he'll get it in the end." He has known this ever since the voice spoke out from the flames. Out of all the characters I went over today, which ones do you think we could see one more time? Put all your thoughts or questions down below in the comments section. I also want to let all of you know how much I appreciate your support. My channel surpassed 300,000 subscribers yesterday, and I can't even express how crazy that is. I really appreciate that, and the same goes for all of you on Patreon. Your contributions and your kind words always give me motivation. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. I will see you soon. Bye.